So, good evening, everyone. This is Shubham Dumbre. I'm from Mumbai, India, and at this time, I suppose in US it is 9 a.m., but here it is 6:30 p.m. And so, without wasting more time, I'll introduce you my session. My session would be on decoding M365, and that is what we are going to study today. As in, just have a look and understand what exactly are the various products that Microsoft has got us under the title M365. And first of all, I would like to welcome you all to the Light Up virtual conference in support of UNICEF. And let's fight COVID 19 all together. So let's begin. Before that, we have a small request to all of you that you all can donate by just scanning this QR code, and it'll all go to UNICEF, and we'll be supporting the COVID 19 situation which is happening all over the world. So thank you. I would also like to thank our sponsors for helping us out with this event, and we are really thankful to them. We are really grateful to them for allowing us to present our technology for 24 hours continuously on Microsoft Technologies. So thank you, sponsors. And you can just have these QR codes for the feedbacks part. So let's jump into the session. So hello everyone, welcome. Again, as I said, the topic is decoding M365. So what exactly is M365? It is Microsoft 365, a platform which has a lot to offer. And yes, of course, we can simplify our life, our what you can say productivity using Microsoft's M365. So let's begin. The world's productivity service, that is M365, comprises of Office 365, which was previously known as O365, along with Windows 10 and Enterprise Mobility and Security. So what exactly M365 offers us is it is comprised of three different parts. One is the Office 365, which includes all our Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Outlook, and all the applications. Second is Windows 10, which is actually very fantastic to use. And the next is Enterprise Mobility and Security. We'll be jumping into each of these as we move on ahead. Microsoft Graph and apps and devices. This is all an interconnected cloud kind of a environment, and we'll understand that. But before that, I would like to showcase that Satya Nadella had said that we are focused on two massive platform opportunities. One is Microsoft Azure, and the other is Microsoft 365. So you all must have heard about Microsoft Azure, and it is really a fantastic platform to build applications and what do you call it, different kinds of tools can be used to build AI and ML programs and all. But there's these two, as in Microsoft Azure and Microsoft 365, actually comprise and help us with multiple sets of tools and applications which are really helpful to us in our today's tech world. So Microsoft 365 is coming together with Microsoft Office and Windows to build this multi-device, multi-sense experience, service and platform. As I said, it is cross-functional, as in it can be used on various devices altogether as it is synced with cloud. So really it gives a very wonderful experience, a very soothing experience when we use Microsoft technologies. And it puts us as people at the center versus devices at the center. This is what Satya says. And now let's get deeper into M365 platform. So M365, as I said, consists of many things. So we have segregated those into intelligent edge and intelligent cloud. I have a short graphic demonstration later in the presentation that would give you an exact picture what is happening with both these segregations. So let's focus on these. Intelligent cloud. Let's understand intelligent cloud at the beginning. So intelligent cloud comprises of Microsoft Identity and Microsoft Graph. So what exactly is Microsoft Identity? Microsoft Identity, you all must have seen many times while logging in into your accounts, you probably tend to forget your passwords. And instead of remembering all those passwords, how about your device will allow you to sign in? That's what exactly identity means. Identity, in simple terms, is like establishing your identity to the service provider in such a way that you are an authentic user can be proven easily. So in simple terms, again, if we just calibrate everything together, we can say like just by clicking on yes, are you trying to log in? Yes, or else if there is any kind of number being displayed to just verify, we click on the same number and you log in. So Microsoft Identity is an anchor for all the cross-platform experiences. Yes, you can access it on all tablets or desktops, laptops, and also on your mobile phones. So that's the reason it's cross-platform. Over 1 billion users are regularly like using these kind of identity tools, because not everyone is that good with remembering all different passwords, and so identity actually gives us that edge over everything. And it has seamless authentication experiences on one first party and third party. So as you call it, the first party is it Microsoft itself provides it on all the various devices, and that's the reason it's like seamless experience, a very fantastic experience that we get from this identity. And it has enterprise grade security and management. As I said, security is something, that is the reason identity was introduced. And yes, with identity we are really secure, because we are able to log in only and only when we are verified as an authentic user. Whenever we are setting up an identity account, probably Microsoft has given us that what you call it, authority to set our questions, like the security questions. We can set it like what was your childhood name, or what was the first school that you went to, and probably these questions can also help us to recover our account. But in most of the cases, Microsoft accounts are really secure, and no one else probably can get into it and misuse it in any manner. Moving on, next is Microsoft Identity, different features. So Microsoft Identity's features, as I said, is advanced security, the very primary most feature. Next is it goes helps us to go passwordless. We don't have to remember any kind of passwords. It is really helpful. And yes, you need to have that device from which you have configured this identity account. That is important, because that device itself acts like a e-ID card or pass to enter into the accounts which you want to log in. And it complies with all the IT policies. Yes, information technology takes it very crucial here in this portion, because it deals with all the accounts and parts. So yes, it is very important to that Microsoft Identity actually complies with all IT policies, and it has improved app discovery. Yes, this is also very fantastic. When you will browse different applications, you'll get to know how this particularly works. Next, we also understand how Microsoft Identity has impacted a life changing experience for multiple users. And there are over 1 million active third-party applications, not only for your Microsoft accounts, but also for many other accounts. You can use these. Probably those accounts can be from any third-party service provider, and this actually helps us to be secure on both Microsoft platforms and other than Microsoft platforms also. So it has unified app registrations experience, and it has Microsoft authentication libraries. Also, it is OpenID certified. So that's the reason, again, certification comes into picture, and security, going passwordless. This is something that is really beneficial when we use Microsoft Identity, and we have access to the Microsoft resources and data. So the one who has set this account knows how he can back up his account data, and how probably all the data that he has stored on the cloud can be managed easily. So that was about Microsoft Identity, the very first what you can say offering from Microsoft's M365. Now we are moving to the second offering, which is another part of Microsoft, that is a part of M365, and that is Microsoft Graph. So Microsoft Graph and data services. Now this is something that comes into the pictorial, what you call it, like the imagery, the expression of whatever data you have, and it has a core schema for productivity. As I said, data has been being showcased in the form of various graphs and tools. So using various graphs tools. So that is the reason more than 18.5 T nodes across the work, life, and school, we have seen a very huge usage of such tools and tech. So services launched for analytics, natural language, and etc. things have been provided by Microsoft Graph, data and services. And yes, as I said, it is really complex to understand Graph, but gradually, when you will actually work on it hands-on, you'll get to know how Graph is so lenient and so fantastic to use. So Microsoft Graph, I have a small demonstration here, like how Microsoft Graph actually helps interactive APIs and all. These all come into picture here. So Microsoft Graph and productivity data. So it might consist of your contacts, if your appointments, if it might consist of your various documents and all. So all these are comprised together. That is Microsoft Graph productivity data. It is then you can say implemented in the cloud part, and then it is showcased to us in form of interactive applications. So data from our application is somehow displayed to us in a very precise manner, in a very effective manner using Microsoft Graph. And as I said, there are connectors. Now, these connectors are actually not wired connectors. Mostly, these are wireless connectors, and these connectors actually connect all our data to the cloud. And from via cloud, we are able to access multiple applications in form of interactive applications. So again, here database comes into picture, and analytics, like probably if you have heard about Google Analytics or some kind of Microsoft Analytics applications. So these applications understand how your data is regularly being progressed, and how these applications are analyzing whether your data is productive, probably it is being used regularly, frequently, and that's how probably this data connectivity helps us to garner and understand how particularly these applications are implemented using Microsoft Graph. Now, Microsoft Graph services. Now, there are many services that Microsoft Graph services include, but probably the six very distinct and very fantastic services which I could note down was Microsoft adaptive cards. Now, adaptive cards are something like, again, you must have seen cards on YouTube whenever you are probably accessing something. So these cards come in front whenever you're watching any video, and you're like, wow. So again, you tend to get attracted to that particular new video or something, whatever comes into picture. So adaptive cards are something that come and showcase that particular identity, and that's the reason we are more towards it. Then Microsoft Search. Search is another fantastic feature that Microsoft provides us. Using Microsoft Search, we can probably access anything that is available on the web, and it's really very efficient, as in it saves time and helps us to grow efficiently. Next is Microsoft Graph and Data Connect. Again, here, as I showcased in the previous slide, that Microsoft Graph includes a lot of nodes and all, and there are around 18.5 T nodes that are being present today in the world. So Graph data connectivity is something that is being accessed using cloud. Again, Fluid Framework. Again, there are many frameworks that come into picture here. Fluid Framework is one amongst those, and that can actually be showcased when we will focus more on the Fluid Framework part. Azure Cognitive Services. Now, Azure Cognitive Services comprise some part into machine learning, also into artificial intelligence and data science. And these all three come together and probably give us various, we can build various tools which can be used for predictions. And you can say, for example, like stock market predictions using ARIMA models. These can be utilized in some or the other manner. So again, bot framework. Now, bots are something that we are very much used to, because whenever we go to any big company's website, probably a developed company's website, we tend to see various bots. So Microsoft's bot, which was very firstly created, was Tay. Again, bots are something that are like interactive humans, which are virtual, and they're not real humans, but they are virtually being created. And bots tend to increase their understanding by as the user uses them frequently, and they develop their knowledge base, and thereafter that's how bots are being particularly implemented everywhere. And nowadays we see many bots on shopping sites and all. So because that is a very wide application, that you don't need to have any person, a real life person in front of that screen. Instead of that, a machine would itself respond according to your behaviors on the web. So that's how bot is very helpful. And let's focus something on bot framework. So bot framework probably has more comprehensive experiences, and you can also build some bots on Telegram and probably use those APIs here. Again, there are various APIs that are being provided by Microsoft itself on the bot development framework, and you can have your own virtual assistant like what we have Cortana. So Cortana is a very advanced application for bots, but yes, in some manner, Cortana or Apple Siri or Google has one bot. So that's how we can get various experiences through it. And it is like we can brand our own bots, we can train our own bots using the knowledge base. They will understand more, and such models can be utilized in a very efficient manner. And these are open source solutions, and they are graph powered. We can showcase multiple things using bots. So here are some examples of some big organizations utilizing multiple bots. So you all can just visit their websites and get to see how various bots have been implemented using the bot framework. Now, do we have any questions till now? Yeah, I think we have. Okay. Yeah. So
No questions yet.
no questions so far, no?
People
Okay.
are shy.
Pardon?
People are shy.
Okay, that's okay. Yeah. Moving on ahead. Now we have Microsoft's next part, as in we had segregated it into intelligent cloud and intelligent edge. So now it is intelligent edge part, and in intelligent edge part we have probably many applications, many tools. Some of those would comprise, as in broadly, if they're classified, they would comprise of Microsoft Office and SharePoint, then Microsoft Teams, then it is web, and then it is native and hybrid. You'll get to know what exactly these are as we move on ahead. Yeah. So now Microsoft Windows, the most known and most used, what you can say, operating system, and extending Windows applications. Now, Windows has excelled a lot since its inception. And yes, now today's Windows 10 is probably one of the most effectively used and most widely, what you can say, featured OS from Microsoft. And yes, it is for device optimized applications. All applications run here with a very soothing experience, and Windows powers a breadth of modern devices, embracing all the frameworks, and it has like it is a complex, what you can say, enigma that has been created. And yes, we can share code with other ecosystems also. So now let's focus on Microsoft Edge. Building applications is possible with the help of Microsoft Edge for consistent standard-based experience access across cross platforms or various applications. We can see Microsoft Edge is being used widely. One browser for all of our web experiences. Yes, Microsoft Edge has its own efficiency and effectiveness, you can call it, because Microsoft Edge probably is one of the most widely used browsers. And when if we are mostly using Windows 10, yes, browser for having such an efficient system is Microsoft Edge, and it has end-to-end web development. So everything that is being developed is really responsive and very good in time. What you call it, like time scaling is very good and contributing back to the whole web better. So probably Microsoft's web, we can term it as Microsoft Edge, and both of these can together be used to build multiple applications on Windows, and probably connected. These are connected through Microsoft Graph and various other tools which are being developed today in using Microsoft Azure and cognitive services can be merged together to get various hybrid applications, and these can actually consist of various different codes that are being developed by coders all over the world. So building web applications also is again possible, and we can use various tools like Docker and Postman and all to code these applications. And again, we can present these to the servers, and we can get out various productivity services through it. Teams. Now, what should I elaborate more on this, because we all are using Microsoft Teams at this point. But Teams is actually really helpful because it is like one-stop platform for everyone to collaborate and come up. So it is like a online office, what I can term it, and not just the Microsoft Word and PowerPoint wala office, but technically it is like very much useful, and it is powering work. Like we can send documents, we can share screen, we can showcase, we can give online presentations. There are multiple uses of Teams, and again, we can create various chat groups, we can have forums, we can have conversations, we can have live video feed or live sessions, what we have having at this point. And we can connect with a lot of people all around the world in different time zones at the same point at the same time. So that's how Teams is helping industries and businesses to grow, and individuals are actually very much benefiting through Microsoft Teams. The last that comes into this picture is Microsoft Office and SharePoint. So for businesses, there is Microsoft Office, and again, SharePoint is also something where multiple documents and what you can say files, etc., can be created effectively with the best of the quality. And SharePoint is the home content for Microsoft 365, and flexible business processes with Flow and Power Apps can be demonstrated here, and deeply extended by Office apps with web can be utilized using Microsoft SharePoint and Office. So these were the 6 things. Now, I have some part, as I said at the end. So digital transformation is something that I would like to showcase, but I actually wanted to show that video at the beginning, but it was not getting calibrated there. But no problem. Let's focus on digital transformation. Do we have any questions till this point? Hello? Do we have any questions? No. I actually would like to showcase that video once. So I'll just show that. Yeah, probably the video, we'll go with that video later. So digital transformation. Now this is a very interesting topic because Microsoft has been regularly working on this part, and yes, it has contributed a lot to the digital society, digital world. And 91% of business leaders see digital transformation as a way of sparking innovation and finding efficiencies. Yes, true that 68% digital transformation is increasing profits, and 85% may say that digital services are becoming irrelevant, and 64% say that there is less than 4 years to complete a digital transformation for a business to go on. So these are some stats that I could gather, and probably how Microsoft's M365 is contributing to this. We'll connect it in the later slides. So this is overall a journey, a digital journey, and it's not just a master move. It comprises of multiple moves that are being focused into some direction of advancing technology and creating digital transformations. So just have a look at this. You can say these are different data points, and those are being connected via cloud, or you can say various data points that are coming together in Unision. This is a web which has been created. So this is a small part, a small skeptical, but if we go broadly, it would look like an interconnected connectivity of nodes. When these are joined together, we see the intelligent cloud and intelligent edge. So that's how various tools, probably on healthcare, on assessments, cross-platform devices, web cameras, locations, events, calendar, then people. We can see various applications have been noted here. Again, on your fingertips, probably your vehicles, your mails, your scans, everything is being showcased here. So here again comes the hardware part, your plane tickets, gaming, etc. comes here. As I had showcased in the previous slide, we have designed we have probably segregated these two into intelligent cloud and intelligent edge. So that's how the whole scenario particularly looks like. That's how data is being transferred, maybe via DTH, maybe via cables, or else online, or via wired connectivity. Again, data is now used by, as in data scientists probably focus on this part, and architects also focus on this part, like whatever data is being gathered simultaneously is being understood, and frameworks are designed more efficiently using this particular data, which is real time and which is getting developed very, very fast. Now this data can help to engage customers, like what we have seen social media, probably various social media applications tend to observe our behavior online, and then they suggest us various products, whatever we are looking for, or else various services, whatever we are looking for on the web, and they probably offer us various discounts. That's how engaging customers is something that is being enabled via this digital transformation, and this is something where M365 also helps us, because again, here we have our Microsoft Edge that comes into picture. Then empower employees, like empowering employees using various location-based services, probably also like helping them out with various tools and applications that they require. This is something where data and AI are playing a very important role. Again, optimizing operations, like probably setting out various appointments, like then setting out various WFTs, like workforce transformations. These all are coming into picture for optimizing various operations, and that's how data and AI, again, data scientists are probably working on this data part and helping a lot. Again, transforming various products. Now, transforming products as in, firstly, we had a regular television set. Now it is again a smart television that has been come into picture. Now we have plasma. So this is how digitally we are getting transformed ahead. And with the help of customer feedback, experiences, responses, we're able to gather more and more insights. And probably the developers and the company owners are able to gather more and more insights using data and AI. Intelligent system experiences. As I said, now probably we have feedbacks, customer feedbacks. Then you can say like we have various surveys. Hello. Hello.
We hear you.
Back on track. Hello.
Hello?
Yeah. Something happened just. I don't know. Maybe we lost some connectivity. Should I continue?
Yes, we see your screen.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So let's begin from the previous part. Yeah. So as I said, this part, data and AI, and moving on ahead intelligently, we are able to engage customers, empower employees, transform products, and optimize operations. This is a digital feedback loop. This is how everything is interconnected, and intelligent systems and experiences have been created uh, fantastically. Do we have any questions till now?
Um, no questions.
No questions. Okay. Now, people and technology. As I said, people are creating various experiences, and whatever they are understanding today via various applications and websites is being comprised with help of technology, and that's how we are creating user friendly experiences. Now, for example, we can connect it with our regular supermarkets. When we visit any supermarkets or malls, we have seen like how many times we are particularly moving from that particular window or pane is being observed, and that's how technologically we are enhancing user experiences by keeping those shelves nearby. Probably if you're buying some kind of groceries, you would need some kind of bags, so those groceries and bags are being kept together. Or probably if you're buying some kind of electronics, then all electronics are particularly kept in the similar fashion, so that you could probably go for more and more electronics or more and more devices that are like smart technological devices. And these are actually increasing customer experiences, enhancing your sales services, and yes, benefiting the customers and also the creators. So what's Microsoft's mission behind M365? It is like empowering every person and every organization on the planet to achieve more. So as I said, Microsoft is always focused on helping others to grow, along with creating multiple experiences, wide range of experiences, and that's how M365 is benefiting a lot to all of us. And I would just like to give you an overview of whatever we had till now. So changing conversations with bots and compose extensions. This is all possible using Microsoft Teams. Because of Teams, we can collaborate easily. We can have our whole all of our office work, and probably during COVID-19, such a tough situation. Yes, most of us are using Teams regularly because Teams is actually helping us to grow, benefit a lot on working collaborations, and go with our workflow. Next is streamlining workflows with an adaptive card in email. So this is again another application of Microsoft's M365, and it is being looked after by Microsoft Outlook. Next is boosting creativity with an add-in, or else you can say add-on. So this is like the very basic one. Word, Excel, and PowerPoint are helping us to scale and enhance our abilities using various docs and presentations and all. Harnessing the organizational data everywhere. Now, this was something like, as I said, Graph is one of the most complex things that we have come across in Microsoft's M365. But yes, it is also really, really helpful because M365 is helping us to engage with various customers using the data that is being generated real time, and we are able to create customer friendly and satisfactory experiences. Then we are creating engaging user experiences with Windows 10, as we have Windows 10 with a wide range of applications. Also, we have Microsoft Cortana, we have various other tools, and also gaming is also being like used on a very wide scale, wide range of applications. So that's how Microsoft's Windows 10 is helping us to grow. Then delivering information on various web parts is again a part with SharePoint. SharePoint again has wide range of tools with it and a different application set. And Microsoft Teams is again very helpful to collaborate and work in a workforce environment. And adding authentication to sign in approves, like security part, security domain which comes into picture is being taken care of by Microsoft Identity to prove that you are the authentic user and no one is misusing your identity to log into your accounts and access them. Yeah, so that was the presentation. I would like to see if there are any questions.